Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ox Court Podcast presented by Boo Crew Media and sponsored by Maker's Mark. I'm your host, Cruz Oxenrider, is always joined by the co-host, Nick Perkins, and the intern, Bond Snow. Boys, Monday night, huge weekend in sports. First round NCAA tournament, crazy NFL free agency stuff. How are we feeling?
I'm excited.
I'm feeling good. I'm excited, dude. I'm just so excited. I actually did pretty good in March Madness, dude. I think I went I'd have to look at it. I have to look at it again, but I think I actually did pretty good, all things considered.
I went 12-4 my first day. First day. And then just spiraled terribly.
I am in prime position to win both of my brackets right now.
Dude, I'm in the 95th percentile right now. I haven't even checked this thing.
I'm 99.7.
You're 99.7? That's insane.
I am 77.6. And guess what? My two national championship teams are out. They lost on the first weekend.
Arizona had me sweating last night.
Oh, man.
I have them against T-Tech in the final.
Oh, man. It was a fun weekend. And so I think we have to start with that. I love the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. It is so much fun because that's when everyone goes in with high hopes, the expectations of like me being delusional, having a perfect bracket, not going to lose a single game, obviously. And it just automatically gets crushed within, what would you say, like the first 4 hours? It's just down the drain.
Yeah.
So much fun. A lot of great upsets. We have a new Cinderella in St. Peter's. It is not a good thing to be a 2 seed. The state of Alabama didn't exactly thrive in basketball this weekend, and my bracket's completely screwed. So now I am just going to the Final Four in April on a social visit because I will have no emotional investment in any team that's in it. So where do you guys want to start? Nick, what were your thoughts opening weekend?
I mean, it's the best weekend in sports, and it's second to none. I mean, people say NFL Super Bowl weekend, that doesn't even compare. I mean, like you said, at the beginning, everybody comes in with high hopes. I mean, even the 16, 15, 14 seeds, they come in with the hope of just knocking off the top seed to just give themselves some hope. And we've obviously seen that in the last 2 or 3 years, obviously this year being St. Peter's being the one. But it's just so much fun, man. And seeing all these schools with, maybe 5,000 students at them celebrating, going to the Sweet 16. It's the best. You can't compare it. It's the best weekend in sports.
Bon, what were your thoughts? Anything that stood out to you?
The fact that St. Peter's campus is literally 2 blocks on a single street, and they are fielding a Sweet 16 team kind of shocks me because I had never even heard of this college before. Whenever they played first, I think Thursday.
You know what the crazy thing about this team is, though, and I don't mean to cut you off there, Bon, I'm sorry, but they're beating teams not by fluke, not by a free throw or a last-second shot. They are handling teams. St. Peter's beat Kentucky by 6 and then turned around and beat Murray State by 10. And now they run up against the buzzsaw in Purdue. But, I mean,
dude, there's
who's to say?
Take St. Peter's in this game.
Yeah, who's to say that they don't? I mean, that would be nuts. Elite 8 run for these people would be crazy.
Crazy stat that was given to us by yes, we have a stat department now. I know we're moving up in the world. No player from St. Peter's was recruited out of high school. Think about that.
So their entire team is walk-ons.
That they went into the NCAA tournament and they beat Kentucky, blue blood, full of future NBA players with Coach Calipari in a 1-game series, and they beat them. And it was not just beat them, but they kind of had their way with them.
Yeah, the game wasn't close at the end. It really wasn't. Nobody was really holding their breath. It was crazy.
I think the only reason the score was that close is just missed free throws and trying to chucking up prayer shots at that point. But I think St. Peter's right now is this year's Oral Roberts or Loyola Chicago. which Loyola Chicago kind of let me down a little bit losing to Ohio State. But just to watch Ohio State get absolutely like ran off the court by Villanova the next game was fantastic.
Villanova has come to play, dude.
Oh my God.
They are men on a
good.
mission right now. It is nuts to watch them play basketball.
It's scary. Like they're the real deal.
They remind me of like Alabama football, but for basketball. It's like they don't even have fun playing. They just go out there. It's business.
It's
They win and they get off the
Just
court
another
and it's
day at
over.
the office.
I'm sorry.
I said just another day at the office.
Yeah, just another day at the office for these people.
They play joyless murder ball for basketball. So they're going up against Michigan on Thursday, which I mean Michigan right now, they've kind of shocked me because I thought they would. I don't know. I thought they would kind of be one and done. I did pick them to beat Colorado State, and then I thought Tennessee would kind of run away with it, and they just beat down Tennessee. They didn't just beat Tennessee; they beat them down. So I was really impressed seeing that. I guess we should go ahead and address the dead elephant in the room.
Mhm.
We're doing that one first, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll tell you what. We'll start on a bad note, and then we'll end on a positive note in this.
That works.
So Alabama, 6 seed. Nick, we've been very critical of this team, not because we don't think they're a good team, but because we know how good they can be, and they just haven't played to the consistency and level we would like to see as a fan base. And it reared its ugly head again. Yes, I know Bama lost one of their best players in the first few minutes of the game, but it just seemed like that the life was sucked out of this team. We would get close, we would take the lead, and then it just seemed like the second half, it wasn't a fun game to watch anymore.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I was only able to really catch the second half of this game. Work was a little bit crazy this past week, but watching the second half, I think you hit the nail on the head. It just felt like there was no life out there. I mean, you could tell the players were trying. You could tell that they were putting in effort. They weren't just going through the motion. They knew what was at stake. But with JQ going down that early in the game, it just felt like the life got sucked out. I mean, you can't say it any better than what you said it. So yeah, I mean it's a tough one, and it's a fluke thing, probably 1 in 10,000 chance that happens. But it did happen, and really good teams can bounce back and still win games in those situations. And I think Alabama had a lot of talent. I still believe wholeheartedly in Nate Oates, but they just were not that raw team that we saw last year that could take adversity and still come back and win games. Now, they've proven they could do that this year, but they really had to be able to shoot the ball well. And just the month of March has not been good to Alabama shooting the ball.
The problem was, and my concern was going into this game, was we just did not look good the last month of the season. I was worried that we were very inconsistent. We weren't finishing games. We weren't, we were making careless turnovers, which is that's been the killer for this team all year. It's just been constant turnovers. And again, Notre Dame just came to play, and good for them. They had to play a play-in game against a really good Rutgers team, who I actually wanted to play Notre Dame instead of Rutgers. That's how highly I thought of Rutgers. And then Notre Dame took care of business in a fantastic game, by the way. I don't know if you caught that in double overtime. Mm-hmm. And then Notre Dame just shot the lights out from three. I thought they played really good defense. They out-rebounded us. I mean, it just seemed like Notre Dame came to win. And when JQ went down, it was done. They smelled blood and they went for it. And I think this is a talented team. I think this roster is built to win. I just think this team got a little full of themselves this year in cases. I think they had a walk into the gym attitude and they could just show up and win. And that wasn't the case. And the Vanderbilt game proved that. But hey, you want to come into a neutral floor, and then a Vanderbilt game proved that, and I think it proved it. I mean, Alabama went 0-4 in March. That's not good. And everyone knows that next year's Bama team has such high potentials.
It's a bunch of freak shows, man. It's three. Was it 3 McDonald All-Americans or is it 2? I can't remember. Either way, it's a bunch of 5 stars. It's a bunch of 4 stars. I mean, it's going to be a freak show to watch Alabama basketball.
So it's 3, and I'm excited to see it. And I really hope, and then I want to see who comes back. I really hope J.D. Davison comes back. I want to see who in this roster stays. I know Bama has already had 2 players enter the transfer portal since they got back, and Jaden Quinterly, and I'm blanking on the second one. Do you know it, Nick?
Alex Tijuku.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I can't say his last name correctly for the life of me.
I have no idea how to pronounce his last name.
But you run down this team as for next year, and I'm really kind of wanting to push to close this book on Alabama basketball because it has been a really tough season. As far as the ups and downs, because I mean, here's the thing though, it's tough for me because being an Alabama basketball fan for as long as I have been, the years prior to Nate Oates were really bad. 13 years seeing the tournament, I think maybe once, and now 2 years in a row, top 6 seeds in both of them, right? So you can't really complain, but the expectation was through the roof after last year. And I don't know how really fair that was after losing the guys that we did. But I'm to the point now where it's like, I think it's time we close the book on this Alabama basketball season saying, look, it's a wash, 19-14. That kind of hurts. But we got a lot of freaks coming in next year, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, the sky's the limit next year. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great recruiting class. I think it should be addressed that I think Nate Oates is a good coach. Contrary to popular belief, I actually think Nate Oates is a good coach. That was more of me just asking a question and being drunk and not. But
I think it is a fair question.
Hey,
I think it is. I think it's a fair question at the end of the day. Yes. But I think it's a fair question for next year. If Alabama takes the talent that they have next year and takes another step back, right? And because you're saying 2020, that happened, 2 seed, Sweet 16. SEC regular season and tournament champs. You take a step back to a 6 seed, which is still pretty good, in my opinion. Good. And then, but you exit the tournament early. If you take another step back here, then you can start saying, okay, now we need to start thinking. I don't think we fire the guy because I don't think we can do better than Nate Oates.
I don't think we can either. I think that was the huge overreaction from everybody. It was like I never said fire Nate Oates because who the hell would we get? Like who? Right. Like what? You want to go try and knock on Billy Donovan's door to come back out of retirement? No, he's not leaving the NBA. No, there's no one right now who could do better. Nate Oates is a great coach. He's come in and since day one he's made this program better, and there's no doubt about that. You can't question it. He has gotten better every time, and he's continuing to improve. I mean, the guy was a high school math teacher, and now he's coaching the University of Alabama. And the one complaint that I was just trying to address is I just didn't think compared to the last year, there were a ton of in-game adjustments being made. I thought there were some bad lineup choices sometimes, or, questionable turnovers. And a lot of that was lackadaisical defense. And so that's all I was trying to address.
While I will say that is definitely like a criticism that is warranted for him, because I've said the same thing. It's like they're, opposing teams on an 8-0 run in a minute and a half. Nate, let's get a timeout. Let's regroup here.
Yeah.
I think his philosophy as a coach is like, I'm going to get the most athletic kids in here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to teach them how to play basketball.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to let them go out there and play, dude. I'm going to let them go out there and just beat the hell out of whoever you're playing against. And it worked last year because we had the kind of dog mentality that, Herb Jones, John Petty, Alex Reese, those guys that were leaders in the locker room, that were able to be kind of floor generals out there. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that this year.
No.
We didn't have the guys that were could coach from the floor per se.
No,
so
I agree.
So I do think, maybe the criticism there is, Nate, you got to recognize your locker room, man, and be like, I got to be more of a coach to these guys during the game and not let them just go out there and play. But I think his philosophy really works for people when you do have those seniors out there that can be that commander. So
Yeah.
And I think that's how he gets the players that come play that he does. He can recruit because it's like, I'm not going to sit here and micromanage you, man. I want you to go out there and play your game.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And like I said, he's had success. And I think next year is a huge year for him. And I'm excited to see what he can do. I believe in Nate Oates. I think we all believe in Nate Oates. And I think the people who are calling for his job is ridiculous, because I would challenge anybody to find 3 realistic candidates that are better than Nate Oates that we can get, and I guarantee you cannot do it. You could.
It's a blank check. It's not even like
no.
Oh yeah, go up there, and like you said, Billy Donovan out of retirement, or like Baylor's coach. I can't think of his name, or anybody, right? With a blank check.
Yeah.
Can you get those guys off those jobs? Probably not.
No.
And as much as it pains me to say that, I mean, Alabama is not a basketball school. We're trying to make it, and I think there's strides to make there to students that, students are getting involved. There's, support now from the alumni. I think it's getting to that point. But what concerns me the most in the fan base and the criticism of Nate Oates is he's a young guy, right? Yeah. He's not in the frame of mind of like, okay, I'm just going to kick my feet up here for 20 years and be coach at Alabama. If a coach, a blue blood job opens up, some person can't get it done at a UCLA. I know they're doing very well, but that's just the first thing that comes to mind. If they're not doing well, they fire their coach. He's out of here, because he ain't going to stick around for people that don't appreciate him.
No, I agree. And like I said, it's back-to-back NCAA tournaments is nothing to hang your head on. I think it's a great accomplishment because, one, when I went to Bama, we made the tournament once and we got bounced like easy. And then we got to see 2017 with Colin and all those guys being freshmen, like Herb and Reese and all them being freshmen. So, and then now we're getting consistency, like, oh man, like making it back to back. But the problem was, though, is that like I feel like this team, if it wasn't for that incredible December and January where we beat those top tier teams, I don't think we would have made the tourney.
No, we wouldn't have, and we wouldn't have deserved to.
Absolutely not. The only reason that we made the tourney seated as highly as we were is because our strength of schedule was the highest in the country.
It was the highest in the country, and arguably, I mean, I would love to get the stat, Wyatt. I know this would be tough to find, man, but like, find me the hardest schedule in like the last 20 years, and I'd put Alabama's at the top of that list. Obviously, I'm not well versed in that era of stuff, but that's got to be one of the hardest schedules in college basketball history.
And weren't we supposed to play Kansas too this year? And like matchup wise in our tournament, we didn't get to. It was the non-conference tournament.
Yes, you're right. At the beginning of the year in Disney. That's right. Yeah, we should have, but we lost to Iona.
And then we played Miami.
That's right.
Yep. That's right. Because we could have played. What was it? That would have made 3 1 seeds we would have played this year. Yeah. And possibly beat. And then Houston was a 5 seed, correct? Am I right there? Correct. And then that's insane. And then Tennessee 3 seed, Auburn 2 seed. Trying to think who else.
To be fair, we didn't beat Auburn at all.
Yeah.
No, we didn't beat them. But I'm just saying with who we played. But we played them twice, home and home. Played Arkansas, who's a 4 seed. Played LSU, who was a 7 seed, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8 seed. I can't remember what LSU was, but yeah, I mean, we played a pretty damn good schedule this year, and I feel like we did well non-conference wise, and then it just seemed like conference wise, it was just the walk into the court the gym attitude. But we'll end on this, Nick. If you had to give a letter grade for this season for Bama basketball, what would you give it?
B-.
B-? Okay.
Really, really close to a C, but I'm not really there because I mean, you did travel up to Seattle and you beat Gonzaga. You did beat Houston. You did beat Baylor. That's something you can hang your hat on at the end of the day and say that was a successful season because there was a ton of really good memories. I mean, I look back at sports and think about it on a memory base, and I will never, ever, ever forget that Gonzaga game. That game was fun.
That
and
day,
I'll go back and rewatch that.
it was a great day because we went from watching Bama beat Georgia in the SEC championship and then immediately go into Bama beating Gonzaga in basketball. That was a fantastic day.
I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember that game.
Well, that's fair.
I celebrated a little too hard after we beat Georgia.
That's fair. Intern, what would you give a letter grade for this basketball season?
I'm gonna go half a step higher than Nick. I'm gonna give it a flat B.
Okay.
Like this is so if we're doing C's average,
yeah,
I would say making the tourney is, at least for the history of the program, is a good baseline.
It's successful.
And,
that's a successful
we
season.
made the tourney. We had good games. We had really bad games too. But I'm not gonna say that the season wasn't like it. Looking back at the season, it's not gonna hurt our recruiting because
no, absolutely not.
So I think B, flat B.
Okay.
Not anything to put on the refrigerator, but we're getting there.
Yeah. All right.
I think now the tournament's the expectation, though. That's the
absolutely.
They have set that. Now it's time to shoot higher.
Absolutely.
That was the first back-to-back tourney appearance since 05 and 06. So
that's unbelievable. I mean, that's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. That's something, honestly, and I love you, Bond, but honestly, I would say that is something you actually put on the refrigerator. So I'm actually going to upgrade mine to B.
That's a cumulative thing when you go back.
Yeah, I guess that is true. So maybe that's a coaching performance thing, Nate Oates type deal.
I would take him out for an ice cream sundae because that, you know what, he did really good on his exam, and you know what, he deserves that.
There you go.
I give the season a B. I give it a flat B. There are times where it's like I wanted to give it an A, and then there are times where I wanted to give it a D. Right. But consistently, I mean, they were a good team, good coaching, just a lot of things that just need to be worked on, which I believe will. And like I said, Nick, you hit it right on the head. Great moments. Beating Gonzaga in Seattle, that nail biter against Houston. I loved that Baylor game. It was a complete game. It was fantastic. And then
that was the best game we played all season.
No doubt. It was fantastic. And so I'm going to go. Yeah, so I'm going to go B. I mean, and our stat department is killing it right now. I mean, Alabama had played 14 games against top 25 preseason opponents. 14.
I would just love to know, has that ever happened before? I mean, I can't imagine.
I don't know.
That's insanity.
That's nuts. And like I said, I had picked Alabama going to the Sweet 16, losing to Duke. I was like, you know what? I think they're going to turn it around. I think they're going to go on a streak and they'll beat Notre Dame or Rutgers, whoever they play, and then they'll upset Texas Tech and then they'll run into Duke. But that didn't happen. You know what else didn't happen, Nick?
Your championship team making it past the second round?
Yes, my championship team not making it past the second round, and my other national championship contender not making it past the first round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my bracket was basically screwed from the beginning. Look, I'm not mad at the Kentucky game because it's like, all right, they lost to Cinderella. They lost to St. Peter's, which I believe right now we're all Peacock fans right now.
100%. I want to find merch for this school.
Oh, absolutely. Like I hope there's a world where St. Peter's goes to New Orleans because I feel like the entire student body would be on Bourbon Street
for
that game. Yeah. So like I would love to see it, but I just think they outplayed Kentucky, and I love what they did against Murray State. Like this, I think this seems for real. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Purdue a run for their money, even though I think Purdue is a very solid team. But Auburn played a little slow against Jacksonville State in the first half, and they kind of ran away with it, like they do. They have Jabari Smith and Zeller, or I'm sorry, Kessler, and I was like, okay, Auburn's just kind of coasting. They're kind of like saving themselves. And then Miami, dude. Miami
team full of seniors, man. We called it though on last week's episode. Team full of seniors will do that, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. They played their ass off. hit big time threes, played great defense, forced turnovers. Dude, I have never seen so many missed layups under a basket in my entire life than Miami forced on defense. Auburn could not score underneath, which is insane because that's been their bread and butter all year, has been playing fast break offense, getting baskets underneath, playing great shot blocking defense. And Miami just flat out better.
Yeah.
So I saw the stat, seeing as you cited fast break points and points in the paint.
Yeah.
Auburn last night had 1 point off a fast break.
Yep.
Wow.
And Miami had 30.
Yep.
And
Jeez.
Auburn had 28 points in the paint, and Miami had 48.
That's insane.
You're never going to win a game playing like that.
No.
Just no way.
And it was funny. It was funny watching that game in the first half because it's like, all right, Miami kind of got to a big lead, and then Auburn like started creeping back, and you're like, yeah, we've seen this movie before. We know how this ends. Like now, Auburn's just gonna kind of gain some momentum and just run away with it. And then Miami came out hot in the second half. I think they went on an 8-0 run to start the second half, and from there it just seemed like Miami was like, okay, we got this. Like we can win this game. And they just ran away with it. And props to them. They played a great game. Miami had 10 steals. Auburn's 1. Auburn had 13 turnovers. Miami only had 4. This Miami team is dangerous. Like we talked about it last week, and it's like you get a team full of seniors and juniors that have bought into a program and have bought into the culture. And look, all you got to do is win one game on that day, and you're in. You're better. So like they're 2 games away. Miami is from playing for a Final Four, and
realistically, they could beat Iowa State.
I think so too. I think they can be.
I did have this matchup in my Sweet 16, and I do have them advancing.
Wow,
you have Miami advancing?
I have Miami advancing over Iowa State.
That's a good pick because I think that actually does happen. Ohio State's a little bit too shaky, and Miami, man, they're consistent. Like, again, team full of seniors. That's what you're going to get. And also, that coach is unbelievable. I can never say his last name. Jim LaRange or something like that. I'm terrible with
even
names.
Twitter just calls him Coach L.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so yeah, that coach is insane. Team full of seniors and juniors. You're always going to get consistent performances. And that's what happened last year with Alabama. I mean, not to circle back to it, but you had 4 seniors out there that were really just able to put in consistent performances game in and game out. And that was the difference in that team. That's how you ran the gauntlet in the SEC and won all the games that you did. But that's besides the point.
Yeah. I have 3 teams left possible in my Elite 8, and I have 2 teams left possible in my Final Four.
The only team I don't have in my Elite 8 right now is Iowa.
So my Elite 8 was Gonzaga, Duke, Baylor, Kentucky, Arizona, Tennessee, Iowa, and Auburn. Rough.
That's really, really tough.
Gonzaga, Texas Tech, Baylor, Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee, Iowa, and Miami.
Yeah. So I will say this. I will give myself I deserve the ridicule, but I picked a team that a lot of people picked to win a national championship this year in Auburn. However, we had someone on the show who picked Tennessee. Tennessee to win a national champion, and that is our stats man, Wyatt. Wyatt, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Do you have anything you would like to say to the class?
I should have never trusted Tennessee.
That was your first mistake.
I should have never trusted Tennessee. I was trying to go with a different pick, try and figure out okay, who's, that under the radar team that nobody's actually predicting to win the national championship. Tennessee was the hottest team in college basketball at the time. They won the SEC tournament, and I was like, that's the pick. It's Tennessee. I got my ass handed to me by Michigan.
Nick, you said it though. You said earlier today on Twitter that Tennessee was not the hottest team in college basketball.
It wasn't. Texas A&M was the hottest team of basketball going into the tournament, and they didn't even make the tournament.
Texas A&M lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament, though.
I know, but that's how they exited. But they won 9 straight against 4 or 5 teams that were in the tournament.
That is true. That is true.
So, yeah, I mean, you can look that stat up. I can't remember exactly who it was, but yes, I mean, technically, you are correct that Tennessee was the team that put out A&M. So, I mean, by that logic, yes, Tennessee would be the better basketball team, but I don't know. I mean, that's an opinion based. Hottest team in basketball. I mean, you can say that about anybody, right?
Yeah.
So,
my Final Four is ruined. I mean, I had Kentucky versus Duke, and then I had Kansas versus Tennessee. So I'm just, of course, with Tennessee winning it. So I'm just toasted. I'm toasted at this point.
I mean,
it's done.
I'm in the same boat as you, man. I picked Kentucky Auburn. I was like, I felt so confident about it too. I was like, yeah, this is great.
Both of y'all are traitors, man.
No, I like winning money.
Okay, look.
So here's the thing, and the worst part is not only did I not win money, is I also have a pissed off girlfriend now who I had to watch the Auburn game with.
Yeah. So how did that go? Watching it with an Auburn fan. I didn't get that privilege to watch that sadness, but the Twitter space after the game was hilarious.
Absolutely gold.
So,
I did not get to be involved in the Twitter spaces. One, because I had a flight that I woke up at 5:45 for this morning, so I went to bed right after the game. I have learned that she is more superstitious than I am when it comes to Auburn basketball. Like, we're talking like put the beanie on, has to sit in the exact spot, put the jersey on the dog. I was standing while they were shooting threes at the time, so I had to stand back up at a point. I mean, it was a lot, and there was a part of me as a loving boyfriend that wanted her to see her team win, and then that way it's like when we go to New Orleans for the Final Four, like, she can actually see him play in person. But the Alabama fan of me was actually enjoying a lot of it.
I'm sure it was tough for you to keep the smile off your face. I mean, obviously, the ending, the last 3 minutes of that game, barring some incredible comeback, right? Yeah. I mean, the writing was on the wall. The game was over, right?
She knew that. She was
right. So I guess that was my question. She was realistic, or did she still have hope? Because I mean, I've watched more Auburn basketball this year for obvious reasons, because they were actually very incredible, and they were fun to watch. Yeah, a lot of personality, and so they were a lot of fun to watch this year. But more times than I can honestly count, they were down in a game last
and come back
6-7 minutes, and they go on a 12-0 run in a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then it's like, God dang, where did this come from?
Yeah,
that's the kind of team that Auburn was this year. And so with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, I tweeted out, "Oh, the greatest team in Auburn men's basketball history loses in the second round." And Bond, you actually responded pretty quick to that, but I had it in my gut. I was like, you know what? They're going to come back and win this freaking game, dude. Like, I had that feeling in my gut about it.
I was one of those, too. I was like, look, I've seen this movie before. They're going to hit some crazy alley-oop dunk, or they're going to they're going to hit a 4-point play. They're going to do something to spark the team, and they're just going to go on this run. And they were in the process of going on a run, and then Miami just hit. I think they hit 2 threes in a row, and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of it.
Let's put that one to bed.
Yeah, okay, we can go ahead and start getting ready for bed and brushing our teeth. That's fine. And again, I felt bad because it's her school, and she gets into it, and it's fun. But at the same time, though, me being a Bama fan, is I'm really glad now there's not an opportunity for her to win the national championship, because now I would never hear the end of it.
Oh,
right.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm in a very similar
See
boat.
how she acts on Twitter? It would be bad.
It would very conflicting. And then obviously I had to question Bruce Pearl. Is it time that we have an honor?
Which was fantastic, by the way. Fantastic. But I will say, here's your question here. Here's your question. And I'm not saying this as a legit question, but to lose in the round of 32 with essentially 2 lottery picks and a third that you could argue is a lottery pick, I mean, that's pretty
that's bad. I will say this though, is that if you if you watch that game, it looked like nothing would go in the hoop for Auburn. It seemed every time it was one of those games where it's like any other time that would go in. Like they were like clear, like easy layups under the baskets, dunks, like shots that they have hit all season did not fall. And it seemed like everything Miami shot went in, especially from like the deep threes and just like the breakdowns on defense. Like it was obviously Auburn's worst game they played all year. And it was just the worst time to play it. Bruce is a
good coach. He's a good coach.
I don't like the guy, obviously, but I think he's a good coach, and I think he's good for where he's at. I think
it's a situation the same as Alabama. It's like, okay, I mean, and not one Auburn fan is even saying fire Bruce Pearl after that.
No.
But it's like, who are you going to find that's better than him? That's going to be willing to come to Auburn, Alabama?
You're not.
You're not.
Like, that's the thing you're going to have to realize. I think Florida is going to be a job I'm curious to see, because Florida has had, success in the SEC and national championship winning basketball, and they've had the big name coach. So now that Mike White just basically entered the transfer portal and with the Georgia, like I want to see what Florida does, because like I think Florida has the Jordan brand and the money to go out and get someone big.
Florida hired Todd Golden.
I did not know that.
3 days ago.
I did not know that.
I did not see that.
I did not see that. So never mind. They clearly do not care about winning.
For the person that really flexed seeing their team win a national championship in Florida in basketball,
I did.
It's kind of crazy. You didn't. Well, yeah, you just
back to back.
Know who their coach was though? Didn't know they hired a coach.
Well, dude, I didn't graduate from Florida. Yeah, so. And I don't know.
It's a weird flex. Let's just say it was a weird flex.
It wasn't a weird flex.
It was a weird flex.
It was me being a smart ass, because they were like, why don't you go back to being a Florida fan? I was like, okay, well, I went back when I was a Florida fan. I did get to see him win back-to-back championships, so it's not like the weirdest. It was just me being a drug asshole, Nick. I should have never ordered a second seltzer bucket, which, by the way, I didn't know seltzer buckets had 10 to a bucket in New York. So
what?
10 to a bucket.
How much did you pay for that?
I don't want to talk about that.
Was it in the three figures?
No.
Okay.
God, no. The first one was split. The second one was not.
It's not.
So, I think the only place in town that does seltzer buckets is like Innocent. I think they're like $15 for 5.
15?
Yeah. Maybe 20, maybe $25 for 5.
I would have cried if that would have been what I paid for it. That sounds great. Man, I miss college. I'm sad now. All right. We've talked enough about college basketball. I'm sad now. I'm rooting for chaos now. That's all I want.
I want St. Peter's in Final Four. That's what I want.
I have a Texas Tech Red Raider until they lose, and then after that, I'll root for chaos.
You know what? After last night's game, I'm like saying screw it. Give me. I want a St. Peter's in Arizona. That's what I want. I want Arizona. That TCU game last night. Holy shit.
Well, since you and Wyatt are too shit to even speak about picking college basketball, why don't you just go with Duke, who's still in the tournament for me, and maybe I can win some money.
I have them going to the Final Four.
I know. I have them winning the championship.
I've got them in the championship.
Let's pull together. Let's be a team. Oxcord, go team. Let's get Duke to the finish line. How about that?
Fine. I mean, well, that's fair, because half of Alabama's football fans are Duke basketball fans anyways.
That's great. That's great logic. I love that.
So that's fine. All right. My stats, man. Back to where you came. We have to get into NFL free agency right now. It has been a lot of fun. There's been some crazy things going on behind the scenes. And why are you still on the screen? There you go. Not anymore. Back to where you came. Okay. So Russell Wilson's a Denver Bronco. Tom Brady came out of retirement. Deshaun Watson's a freaking Cleveland Brown, which I never thought I would ever say.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is a Las Vegas Raider. Jameis Winston back in New Orleans. Pretty happy about that.
Don't say it. If you don't say it, it didn't happen. If you don't say it, it didn't happen. Don't say
what?
it.
I was just gonna say Felipe Franks is now the new starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Yeah.
And Matt Ryan is officially an Indianapolis Colt, and I couldn't be happier for him because he deserves to play for a good offensive line and a good organization.
And a good supporting running game. I mean, the Colts sign a receiver. They're going to be immediate impact, man.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
another really good quarterback in the AFC too, by the way.
Oh my God, right? So, Nick, I love you. You're a good friend of mine. We have great back and forth when it comes to the Saints and Falcons. I just want you to you can do. I'll give you your little bit of time right now. You can say a heartfelt goodbye to Matt Ryan. You can curse the Atlanta Falcons. Just remember, we only have a one F-bomb rule now. Thanks to Nick. We love you.
We haven't used it yet, though.
We have not. We've been. I was saving it for this segment for you.
I didn't know we were following PG-13 TV rules.
Yeah, we're sponsored now, Bond. We have to follow rules.
I like my car sponsorship, so we're gonna keep that one F-bomb. And I just want to give you the floor and what you think. Just say what comes to your heart and just embrace the fact that Felipe Franks is now the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.
They signed someone today. Who did they sign?
No, they signed
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota.
Which honestly, here's the deal. Like, I honestly wish we could have just. I'll start there. Let's start there really quick, shall we? Okay, so Marcus Mariota. Okay, so you got to get in and you got to find a quarterback. He hasn't started a football game in 3 years? Okay, so he's already aging. I don't even know how old he is, but he's not in his prime anymore. He hasn't started a football game in what feels like ages. Let's see, what else? Oh, we signed him to a 2-year deal. Why do we do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. We all know that we are going to be awful next year. We are going to, 0-17, awful.
Also,
I think literally it's just next year. After next year, we're going to be back in the realm of possibility because we're going to have so much salary cap space. We're going to have a lot of fun going in free agency, and we're going to be able to get Bryce Young first overall.
All right, I've got Mariota's most recent game that he started. It was October 13th, 2019 against the Broncos, and I want you to guess his stat line.
Oh my God!
Did he get pulled, or did he finish the game?
Based on the stat line, it's looking like he got pulled.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
He was pulled.
6 of 17, 120 yards, 2 picks.
Damn, that was close. 7 of 18 for 63 yards and 2 picks.
Let's go, dude! I'm so close to that. Oh my God!
Wow. Well, Nick knows what it's like to watch a bad quarterback with a bad stat line.
You just said you were happy for Matt Ryan. You just said that.
I know, because you know why? He got out of the place where careers and dreams and hopes and championship aspirations go to die.
Listen, the thing is, at the end of the day, okay, it's okay. So this even gets me more frustrated, right? You trade Matt Ryan for a 3rd round pick. I mean, okay, I get it. Maybe he's not worth a first round pick at this moment in his career. I can understand that, but you can only get a 3rd. That's all you can get. Okay. The other side of it is now we have, $25 million in dead cap space this year. We can't even use. We got that Supermax contract off the books, but we can't even use the money.
It's the biggest cap hit in NFL history.
It's the worst. I saw a tweet. It was like, man, God bless Atlanta Falcon fans because they are now the fans of the franchise that had the largest blown lead in the Super Bowl and the largest salary cap hit. It's just dead cap space. Can't use it.
$40.5 million cap hit. Nick.
God,
40.5.
It's even worse than I thought. It's even worse. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll get off the soapbox, I promise, because I can't keep talking about this. And then I'll let you guys yell at me or not yell at me, but make fun of me, whatever. Atlanta Falcons offense. This is their starting offense projected right at the start of the season. You got your QB of Marcus Mariota, running back Mike Davis and Damian Williams. So at least you have 2, kinda. You got Cordell Patterson, which is fine. You have I won't even go through the names of the offensive linemen because I don't even know who they are. They're awful.
No, y'all literally had the least efficient offensive line.
It was statistically the worst offensive line. And that's I can't even think who else had a bad offensive line last year.
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins had a really bad one, statistically worse than the Dolphins.
The Jags, the Bengals.
You got tight end Kyle Pitts, who is I still think can be an NFL Hall of Famer. I really do. I think he's that good, and I think he can be an All-Pro. So that's the one glimmer of hope on this offense. Then you got Christian Blake.
Who?
Exactly. Just some dude from an Alabama fraternity house that was signed to the Atlanta Falcons. You got your Z receiver, Olamide Zacchaeus. Okay, and then your slot receiver is a guy by the name of Frank Darby. That dude sounds like a receiver from the 1970s. Yes, he sounds like a Hall of Fame receiver from the 70s. That's what he sounds like. This is 0-17, loading up like I have never seen. But we made jokes. We made jokes about Jacksonville last year. We made jokes about the Texans, and they were bad teams. But this is the worst. It might be the worst NFL team to take the field.
Dude, you guys should just fire sell and just recuperate everything. Like, get rid of Deion Jones, get rid of Grady Jarrett. Like,
I say just nuke it. Just nuke it. It's not even blow it up. Nuke the entire program or franchise. Honestly, just like, I mean, front office needs to be looked at as well at this point, because that was atrocious. And I sat here and defended them. I defended them on Twitter. I defended them on the show last week, thinking, oh man, dude, if we take the picks that we got from Tennessee and apply that to Deshaun Watson and we get him, that's trading, an aging wide receiver that can't stay healthy for an NFL quarterback that could be an MVP candidate that's still in his prime. Now, yes, you got all of the off the field stuff that you have to deal with. You convinced me last week that it was a good ride. And I said last week that it was a gamble on both sides, whether you get him or it's a gamble whether you try and get him.
Yeah.
And we see what gambling does. It blew up in our faces.
Well, I will also say this about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has done more for the Atlanta Falcons franchise than most, I would say him, Julio Jones. I'm trying to think of other big names that have come through who have really made a huge culture impact on the team. And Matt Ryan was like, all right, if you really want to get rid of me for everything I've done for this franchise for a guy who hasn't played football in a year.
Yeah. With all the off the field stuff too.
He basically just said, you know what? That's fine. Pay me or trade me. Yeah. And he got his wish and he got traded and he only got a 3rd round pick for it, which I'm surprised you at least didn't get a second.
Yeah.
The fact that he's only worth a 3rd.
Well, no, he's worth more. The Colts just knew the situation and knew how to manipulate it. They knew. I mean, it's the same shit that happened with Julio Jones, man. Like, everybody knew that he wanted out because he went on national fucking television. There's my first F-bomb. He went on national television and said, I don't want to be in Atlanta anymore. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons are the largest laughing stock of a franchise in probably the NFL history, and the Cleveland Browns went a decade without winning a football game. Okay. And no, that's not actually accurate, but it felt like that. I mean, there was multiple years.
They won a full calendar year without winning a football game.
You're right. Yeah. So
I know, Nick.
I'm getting frustrated. It's getting really frustrating. It's hard. It's going to be really difficult to continue to be a fan, but I'm not going to be a Josh Clackler. Shout out Josh Clackler. I'm not going to change teams. I will not be a turncoat. I will be a Falcon for life. It's just going to suck the next couple of years.
It's not going to be pretty.
All right.
Nick, it's almost not even like fun at this point because it's honestly
because there's no competitiveness.
It's not.
We were at least competitive before. This is going to be a skull dragging fiesta every single week.
It's going to be bad. I could honestly see this team going like 2-15. You guys will.
No, my expectation is 0-17.
You'll find ways to win games.
It is.
Who's going to win us games though? That's my thing. Who on our depth chart can win us games?
So you play 2 games against the Saints, which Jameis is back, and we'll touch on that in a second. You play 2 games against the Panthers, 2 games against the Bucs. You play Seattle, which Seattle. I don't think Seattle's going to be that good of a team this year either. Depending on who they draft at quarterback, I think they're going to end up getting like Malik Willis.
You guys can definitely pull a game off the Commanders.
That defense is raw, though, isn't it?
It's Carson Wentz.
True. Yeah. It is Carson Wentz. You're right. That dude just loves turning the ball over. But
it
I mean, and our defense actually is not horrible.
has its moments.
It has its moments, and like
your
God,
defense was like the worst rush defense in the league or something. It was like 28.
It was
Okay.
Nick, I was just trying to be optimistic for you because now I kind of feel bad. But hey, you know what you guys could do? Wildcat with Cordell Patterson. He might be the best player on
I'm
your team.
open to all suggestions. At this
No,
point.
all right.
I am
Nick.
open to anything at this point. Hell, put Felipe Franks out there. I don't give a shit at this
Oh
point.
yeah, you guys do play Seattle, so oh wait, do you? Yeah, no. Yeah, you
we
do. Okay.
We do.
Yeah, they had the
32nd
worst defense in the league last year. So
wow.
You know,
maybe y'all can do something with that.
Maybe I was kind of surprised, like you guys just went from Mariota so fast. Like I think you guys should probably call the Browns. And go after Baker.
All right. No, here's the trade that I wanted to. That was before the show.
Here's the trade.
Okay.
All right. Send your second round pick this draft to Green Bay for Jordan Love.
No, God, no. Oh my God,
No,
are you kidding me?
that's
Absolutely not. No.
But
no.
you'll take Marcus Mariota.
Dude, I would rather put AJ McCarron on one leg back there than trade for Jordan Love.
Hey,
Don't talk about God.
We'll talk about the king of the 251 like that.
Dude, I'm saying he's good. I'm
Okay,
saying he never got a fair shake in the NFL.
Damn right he didn't.
So
all right. So on some positive news, though, someone who didn't win the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Jameis Winston's back, baby. 2-year deal. We're about to win the NFC South.
It's just whatever, dude.
I'm sorry, man.
I don't even care.
I'm
happy for you though, because I actually do like Jameis. I like the energy. I think he's a great locker room guy, and he's actually a really good player in New Orleans. So I think
I do too.
That was a really good pick, and I'm shocked it took you that long to extend him.
I'm not. It was because of the Deshaun Watson thing. Now, I will give Jameis a ton of character credit, and I think this is why it's going to go a long way with this fan base and this organization. Jameis Winston could have gone and gotten money for the Colts, the Steelers. I believe there were a few other teams that had been looking at him, and he was holding out because he wanted to stay in New Orleans. He wanted to play. He wanted to finish some business there because he got hurt when the team was actually doing very well. And he knew what was going on behind the scenes, but that was also the Saints being upfront with him and keeping him in the loop. And they also said, like, hey, we don't get Deshaun Watson, we're going to sign you to a contract. And he got paid 2 years, $28 million, getting $14 million a year. Good for him. He probably got more money waiting doing this because of this.
Yeah.
So
and you kind of touched on it with the fan base, but also the players in the locker room, man. Yeah. A guy that will stick by his guys like that. I mean, and he probably understands that Deshaun Watson, in the case that he was in, is probably the better deal to run with. And if it happened, it happened, right? But he was like, it didn't happen, so I'm going to make the best of a situation. And I can think of at least one team that would like to have Jameis Winston on their squad this year.
I can think of a lot of teams.
Fair enough to them. Yeah.
I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
Before the rebrand, any longtime listeners of the show may remember a certain deal that was struck between two of you for last season.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, wait.
If Jameis Winston leads the Saints to the Super Bowl, is that deal back?
Are we renewing that?
With the crab leg tattoo?
100%. Let's do it.
Crab leg tattoo.
Let's do it.
Yeah. 100%. Let's do it. Crab leg tattoo if Jameis Winston leads the New Orleans Saints to a Super Bowl this year.
100%.
To win it or just to get there?
I just said to get there.
Let's just say, because let's carry it over from last year. If that was it, let's carry it over. It's just to get to the Super Bowl. And we'll go to the Super Bowl cruise and we'll get tattoos.
Where is the Super Bowl this year? I think it's in Arizona, right?
I can't remember.
Because the national championship for football is in LA. Remember that.
Yeah.
Which
I think it is in Arizona.
Go ahead and start making my reservations for that.
Jeez. Yeah. I saw a picture of Nick Saban today and he was like pissed off. And it's like pissed off Nick Saban means a national championship. Like if Nick Saban gets pissed off during spring ball, you might as well just hand him the trophy then. He's already locked in.
Yeah. So I'm happy about the Jameis thing. I think we are going to.
There you go. Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. I think we're going to try and go after Jarvis Landry or Odell in free agency. I think there's still some really good free agent wide receivers out there. I think I would love to have the opportunity to draft Jameson Williams in this draft, to pair him with Michael Thomas, because the Saints need a deep threat. And I think he would be the perfect deep threat because Jameis has a cannon. We know this.
Slant boy isn't a deep threat anymore for you?
He runs 4.5, Nick. He's not a burner. Jameson Williams runs like a 4.2, like 4.26.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of people in the league that can do that. So
yeah.
I'm excited. I think we'll add some pieces. Now we are no longer in cap hell. So suck it, salary cap experts. Don't know what the hell you're talking about. But so we touched on our teams, Nick. Now we got to touch on the interns team. Devontae Adams traded from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders. That one kind of came out of nowhere for me. And then once I kind of like sat down and read his relationship with Derek Carr, kind of made a little more sense. And so
I actually don't know that. What's his relationship with Derek Carr?
They play together in college, and they're real
close. They're like homies.
Yeah, they're really close. They play together at Fresno State, and so that was like, okay, like Carr made it a point of emphasis to like want to go out and get a guy like Devontae Adams. So, intern, what is your thought process on this? Are you shocked? Are you pissed? I
was in shock at the time. It was because the deal broke on, I think, St. Paddy's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just about to go out. So I'm like, of course it happens now. But so the more I sat and like thought about it, we get a first and second for Adams. We are no longer in salary cap hell. We can, as much as I slander MVS, he's the best option we have right now for free agents. So I will take him back. We also have 4 top 60 picks in this draft. And I think, so we picked 26th, and I think we're going to go for Mechie.
I think that'd be a huge pick
for Mechie.
Yeah.
I don't
22nd.
I don't
That's
think
right. 22nd, 28th.
I think you can get Mechie in the second, man. Like you can probably
projected. He's
coming off an injury though.
Like,
I mean, he might fall.
JMO, the JMO ACL tear. If New England doesn't grab him, I want to take
the Saints or the Patriots are going to grab him. So 100%,
because Saints are drafting 18, Patriots are drafting 21.
Yeah.
I think he's going to the Pats. Personally,
I could see him going to the Pats. So like,
but
from what I've
seen, if he falls to 22, I want JMO immediately.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Pick up like some outside linebacker because we lost Z too at 28.
Christian Harris would be great.
Yeah,
that dude could not read a defense worth anything.
The thing that shocks me most is Aaron Rodgers has come out and said that he knew that Adams was going to get traded when he's re-signed. And I have been a Rodgers is saying homer since day one, ever since the news broke on draft night. And 1, I was right. 2, I am shocked that the amount of like focus they put on Adams and Rodgers, like this being their last dance, as they post on Instagram all the time last year. I'm honestly shocked that Adams left. Like, I think we got a good deal for him. I'm just shocked that he did it. No hard feelings. Hard feelings against.
So that was going to be my question: is do you resent him at all for leaving?
No. Like, it's business.
I kind of get it because there's no state income tax in Nevada, so he's going to get the majority of his actual paycheck. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I thought like, hey, you get Devontae Adams, and I heard like the Julio to Green Bay rumors, which now he's rumored to go to Indianapolis or Tampa Bay.
I would love to sign Julio. We have like 20 million cap space right now.
Yeah, and you can probably get Julio for like a 1-year, like $8 million deal.
Hold up. Julio to Tampa Bay? That's a rumor right now?
Yeah, Brady's like actively yeah, Brady has like actively tried to recruit Julio to come to Tampa Bay. You haven't seen that?
Christ. No,
But
I mean, like, it
but
makes
so
sense, but I haven't seen that. Like, damn.
But now Colts players are now trying to convince Julio Jones to come to Indianapolis and play in a dome and play with Matt Ryan. So
now, if the Colts get Julio, yes, he's an aging wide receiver. I still think he's an unbelievable talent when he's healthy. If he can stay healthy, that's the thing. Man, Colts are going to be really good this year if they can get a stud wide receiver.
Well, one, they're going to be good if Deshaun Watson does not get. Or no, who did they have now? I forgot.
Who?
The Colts. Who did they sign?
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. If you put Ryan and Julio back together, that's going to be bad.
So you would crazy.
Would have
with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield
with that offensive line and that defense, dude.
Yeah, they're
crazy.
And Michael Pittman's a good wide receiver as well. T.Y. Hilton's a free agent. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a freak of nature. I think if they go in and they add someone in free, because the Colts have so much cap space, so like they can go out and like sign somebody, a few people, and then I think the Colts can make some noise. Like I think Tennessee's run, the AFC South is done.
Oh,
I think it's done. I think
they need to move on from Tannehill expeditiously.
Oh, absolutely. And I think they kind of wanted. I think there was a rumor that they wanted to see about reaching out for Deshaun Watson, but the Texans refused to trade inside division, which
makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
I think right now, I love the AFC West. You have Denver, Kansas City, LA, and Vegas. I mean, holy crap. I mean, imagine Derek Carr being the worst quarterback in your division, which you can make a case he's third. I'm still a little about Herbert at times.
I am too. People ride that guy. He's good. I'm not convinced. He's good, but is he NFL MVP? No.
I think he's good.
I never called for him to be MVP, but I'm a Jay Herb stan.
Some people really ride that guy like he's an NFL MVP caliber.
He's got a really good roster around him.
He will be in 3-4 years, but not now.
I just think he's had the luxury of having a lot of really good talent around him with like Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. You have Mike Williams. You have Hunter Henry. You had a good defense. You have a good offensive line. Now you're adding. And so then you have Vegas, you have Josh Jacobs, you have Kenyon Drake, you have Hunter Renfrow, you have Zay Jones, Zay Jones is actually a really good wide receiver for like fantasy sleepers. And now you add Devontae Adams to that. You have Darren Waller. Then Broncos just got Russell Wilson with Jerry Jeudy and that crazy defense. And then Kansas City's Kansas City. I mean,
I think the AFC West is the scariest division in the NFL right now.
They're going to get 3 teams in the playoffs, so it's like you could easily be.
I don't know about that.
No,
because they have to play each other 6 times or like 6 total games in conference.
I think a lot of them they're going to split in, so it's like I think it's going to be a lot of like tiebreakers. So it's like for example, like there have been teams and there have been divisions that have had 3 teams in the playoffs, like the most recent I can think of was in 2017. The NFC South had 3 teams in the playoffs, like the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers all made the playoffs. And Carolina and New Orleans got matched up against each other. So I think it's going to be the most fun division in NFL. I cannot wait. The fact we're going to get to see Patrick Mahomes versus Russell Wilson twice a year.
You don't think the AFC North would be like up there? Is this crazy? That division's freaking nuts, dude.
That's wild too. Like, and now you got Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and then kissing titties Mitchell Trubisky.
Which
they're going to draft a quarterback. They have to.
Yeah, they're gonna take Kenny Pickett.
They got to. Yeah, he did. It's literally the greatest nickname.
I forgot about that completely. And that
there were 3 teams in the playoffs this year from the NFC West.
Oh, right, Arizona,
San Fran, and the Rams.
And the Rams. Right, yeah. And they're gonna. Well, Seattle's done, so now it's like, is Arizona like resolved everything with Kyler? I hope maybe San Francisco. Like they're trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for like a second round pick, and then LA.
There is not a soul that can convince me Jimmy G is more valued than Matt Ryan. I mean, there's no way in any reality that's
It's because
true.
he's younger. That's it.
But he's not even good. Like
There was a
now
stat
is better
from
than
this
Jimmy
past
G.
season that the 49ers were undefeated when Jimmy Garoppolo did not throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's insane. That's an unbelievable
That is
stat.
game manager at its finest.
But he loses them games. You can't even classify this guy.
They went like 4-7 when he threw a touchdown pass and
That's
went
crazy.
6-0 or 7-0.
So if you guys had to pick a team, like who's like if you had to pick a winner of free agency so far, like who you going with?
The
Oh,
Buffalo
man, that's
Bills.
Ooh,
The
I like
Buffalo Bills.
Who did
that.
they acquire?
They got.
I know they cut Beasley. Oh, they got Von
Dude,
Miller.
They got Von Miller, dude.
And they got OJ Howard.
And they got OJ
yeah,
Howard from
on a
Tampa Bay.
steal
on
of
a
a deal.
cheap contract too. That's
I
the
think
thing.
1
So
year,
cheap.
him and Josh Allen are going to eat.
Yeah.
And then, well, here's the thing: they also have Connor Knox too, so I think that they are going to run a dual tight end set. Stephon Diggs, and that Davis, what is it, Gabriel Davis, the guy got 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so like now he's on the scene. Everyone knows who he is. I think if the Bills like go and get, because they just got rid of Cole Beasley, so if they come in and they get a third guy, a wide receiver, like
Singletary is good too out of the backfield.
I like Singletary. I think they need like a real every down running back though. I think like I think Leonard Fournette would be a really good addition there. Like because now he's in New England right now. I think he would be really big. But they did just sign Matt Breida. God, I love our stat guys sometimes. I really do. He's like I say
He's
something
on it,
and
dude.
boom, facts right there. Matt Breida. The problem with Matt Breida is that he's been kind of like he gets nicked a lot. And so like it's I don't know. I kind of want him like I would love them to get trying to think like running back wise, like a Breece Hall out of Iowa State, a B-Rob out of Bama, a Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State, and then with the pair with Singletary.
B-Rob would do really well up there with their offensive line because he was extremely effective between the tackles this year.
Oh yeah,
like he was averaging like 4.5 yards a carry.
Yeah. So Vaughn, who would you go with as far as a winner so far?
I don't want to.
I think the cheap answer is whoever got Deshaun Watson.
Right.
But that's too cheap.
Yeah.
It's too
honestly,
chalk.
no, the Broncos.
Yeah.
They did do well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I respect that. Yeah,
like
I mean,
Drew Lock's not bad. He's not great. He's the Ryan Tannehill of the AFC West.
Ryan Tannehill's better than Drew Lock, no doubt.
No. Dog, Ryan Tannehill has stats on par with Mitchell Trubisky.
that actually is true.
There's an account on
that's
TikTok
fair.
that compares or like gives one QB and a mystery QB. And I was like, who could be as bad as Mitch Trubisky? And it was Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill, no kidding. Wow. Okay, fair enough. All right, I stand corrected.
But yeah, I got to go with the Broncos. Granted, they did send a lot of hardware over to Seattle for it, but
But it's Russell Wilson,
though.
Right.
I think the only player
they sent
was Noah Fant.
They sent like 5 picks.
They sent 5 picks, but think about that. Like
3 of them were first.
But if you think about it, Denver is thinking about drafting in the 30s, where it's basically a second-round pick. And there's no quarterback that's going to be coming up anytime soon besides Bryce or CJ Stroud that's even going to be remotely close to being capable of being a Russell Wilson.
Realistically speaking, how many years do you think they'll get out of Russell Wilson?
5.
How old is he now?
5. They'll get 5 years out of Russell. Russell has taken really good care of his body. This is like the first year he's been like actually like nicked up, and that's because
he broke a finger. He's 33.
Yeah,
33.
It's not like it was a career-ending injury either.
No, right, yeah.
Yeah, he hurt his thumb, if I'm not mistaken, right? I believe it was the thumb injury.
I think it's his index finger. It was like what really.
Yeah.
It was a pointer.
Yeah, and then look, and Russell Wilson's been known for running around for his life because that Seattle offensive line is god awful, and I I think Seattle should just firestorm. I think they should trade off Tyler Lockett and they should trade DK Metcalf, Jamal Adams, and just like start fresh at that point. Bobby Wagner's gone now. Yeah, I think they should. If I'm going to pick a winner out of anything where they haven't really had to give anything up to, I'm going with the Bengals. They have been like, hey, we know what the problem is.
Yeah, but they re-signed Eli
clearly
Apple.
They don't. They re-signed Eli Apple.
Yeah,
like 4 years.
No. Eli is a joke. I'm talking about their offensive line because we both know the reason they're winning games is their offensive line or their offense. So they just signed Collins from Dallas. They acquired the guard from Tampa Bay. I believe they added someone from I want to say the Niners, but they've addressed their offensive line there. They made that a priority. They have the weapons. They have Joe Mixon. They have Jamar Chase. They have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd. Alex Kappa from Tampa. I think they need to add a tight end, which they can address that in the draft. But I think Cincinnati's done a really good job. Is like, look, they know what their weakness is. It's their offensive line. Joe Burrow got sacked more than anybody in the NFL last year.
He set a Super Bowl record for time sacked.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, hey, if we're good enough to get to the Super Bowl getting sacked that much, let's address the reason why. So I think from that standpoint, I think they have gotten better at their weakness. They've addressed it. Now, Eli Apple, I think they just signed him for comedic laughs. So that they'll take it.
It was guaranteed money, Cruz. It was guaranteed money.
Joke. No, he's awful. I don't know what they see in him. Like, I really don't. Like, I'll never understand it. But I like what my winner is Cincinnati's offense. God knows not their defense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a good pick. Cincinnati did. I mean, getting all of those guys that really addresses the weaknesses and I mean, like you think if they had an offensive line last year, they would have won the Super Bowl. I fully believe that.
Oh, 100%.
Easy.
And they got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase still on rookie contracts. I mean, the sky is the limit for this team right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have signed 3 offensive linemen so far. So they're doing, and now they can make moves in the draft. Like they can add to it. They can add a new offensive lineman. They could add a new corner. They could add a tight end. Like I think this sky's the limit for this team, and they're gonna have to be because now they play Deshaun Watson twice a year, and they play Lamar Jackson twice a year, and of course, Mitch, I kissed Titty Trubisky.
It's never gonna not make me laugh.
I know.
That is the funniest thing to me. I swear.
know. So I think we hit on everything. Did we not?
The only thing in the 5-minute touch, right? We didn't really touch if we think Deshaun is going to really be good in Cleveland. I think that division's going to be so hard that he's going to get like drowned out in all the good teams that he's going to have to play week in and week out.
Yeah.
I think if it was like the AFC North as of like 3 years ago,
they'll run away
with it, and it's not even close. But the division now is so different. I'm not a Lamar Jackson believer. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback.
Ooh.
But him, Joe Burrow, and then you got the Steelers with Mitchell Trubisky, but that defense is raw. I mean, that is a hard division to win week in and week out. So, and you're going to play them obviously home and home for each one. So it's a tough one. I'd love to know what you guys think about, like, do you think they're a playoff team this year?
I think that no, I don't.
With the AFC West being as stacked as it is,
no.
I think the Bengals win the North, and they don't get the wild card spot because the AFC West ends too.
Is that good? Right.
I think guaranteed 2 teams out of the AFC West make it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 2 teams out of the AFC North make it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 2 teams. So we can basically say, like, okay, this is what I'll think will happen. I think it'll be Denver, Kansas City make the playoffs. I think the Colts will make the playoffs now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the Bills and the Patriots will make the playoffs.
Yep.
I agree.
So that's 5 right there. So that leaves what is that? 2 spots left.
Bengals.
No, 3 spots left because there's 3 wildcard teams now.
5. Yeah. No, there's 7 total.
Yeah, you're right. I'm
total.
sorry. I'm sorry. So 7 total. So that leaves 2 spots. So okay, then at that point, you have Bengals, Ravens, and Browns. So you got to pick between 2 out of the 3 of those. Or what if Tennessee still goes on a run because they have Derrick Henry and he's coming back.
Derrick Henry will carry the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
The AFC
is
a monster.
What if the Chargers in Vegas plays a role in there where they can come in and take a spot? So there's a really good chance that there's just not going to be enough spots. And I don't think with the weapons Deshaun has at wide receiver, like, look, I love Amari Cooper. I got the chance to watch him in college the entire time he was there at Bama. And he's one of the best players I've ever seen running routes. I think he's amazing. He's not that dude anymore. He's not a number 1 receiver. There's a reason why.
He was catching passes from Dak Prescott.
But he was also having to go against CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Wilson as well.
Does it shock you? And 30-second touch here. Does it shock you they traded Amari and not Gallup? Like, I feel like
no, they traded Coop because he did not like Dak.
Yeah.
Called him. I don't remember what he called him, but it was something.
He called him the Black Kirk Cousins.
Yes, that is.
He said that publicly
in a meeting.
No, in a meeting.
Oh, I was like, oh my god. Where have I been? I feel like I've been living under.
I will say that a lot of wide receivers that are still free agents right now are interested in signing with the Browns since they have signed Deshaun. Yeah, so their wide receiver room very well could change.
I don't think Jarvis Landry or Odell will come back.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't think they will.
Odell, the Green Bay train.
I think that would be a good fit for him.
That could actually happen. Actually,
I would love Odell to come home to New Orleans. I think I would love that. Or Jarvis to come home. I mean, the LSU kids, and they're both.
What about Eli Apple coming home?
He's
had too many homes to narrow it down.
Bro, he can never step foot in the city again. Because Amari had a big contract, and I just thought it wasn't a good fit anymore, and it sucks. And so, and don't get me wrong, Donovan Peoples-Jones is good. Jakeem Grant is not I don't think he's all that. Anthony Schwartz is just a track star. Like, he's more of a gadget kind of guy. They just cut Austin Hooper. They have David Njoku, who cannot stay healthy to save his life. So it's like Cleveland can't go and draft a wide receiver.
Plus, they just threw the bus at Houston and the kitchen sink.
Exactly. And so now they gave Sean all this money. They gave all these picks. And
the issue with this pick is they're assuming that Watson is going to want to stay in Cleveland for a long time.
Well, I mean, he's going because he's
they signed him to what, 5 years?
5-year contract, yeah.
Yeah, but with the amount of hardware and the salary cap hits they take away, are they going to be able to acquire enough talent to put around Watson, or did they shoot themselves in the foot here?
It's the same. It could be the same situation that the Falcons found themselves in after the Super Bowl run. You signed Matt Ryan to a super max, and then you can't build anything around him. So then it's like, well, okay, now we're just a mediocre team.
Y'all had Julio, Calvin Ridley. The problem was your offensive line.
We drafted Calvin Ridley after the fact.
Yeah.
So it was literally Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, and
until he took that mental health break.
No, I agree. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying at the time of the Supermax contract, everything was all rose-colored glasses, all good, and then down the line is where things went wrong. We even drafted well in that time frame, which is crazy to think about because we don't normally do that, right? But think about if we got a bunch of lemons in the draft, how bad we'd be right now.
Yeah.
Y'all would be worse than the Jags, and that's tough.
We are already worse than the Jags.
I will say this though: the Jags are they don't care about money. They're buying everybody.
Yeah, they really.
They don't care. I think Cleveland is gonna they're gonna be the hype. We remember how excited we were that oh my god, they go to Odell Beckham and they got Jarvis Landry and they got Baker and Myles Garrett and they're doing all this, and then I don't know. They're also going to have to pay Nick Chubb coming up. And Nick Chubb is not going to come cheap. They have Kareem Hunt out of the backfield as well. Their defense is good. Myles Garrett's a freak. I like what they have at corner. Denzel Ward.
We all fully agree, though, Cleveland having a quarterback last year is a completely different team than what they ended up being.
Yeah,
right?
but Baker was hurt all year. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if they had Deshaun Watson last year, this is a completely different story. Cleveland is a deep playoff run type team.
Yeah, absolutely. Roster-wise, I think they're very talented and they have the pieces, and then Baker just got hurt, and I think his confidence got shook, and now I think Baker's going to go to Seattle. I would love to see Baker in Seattle.
That's a dumpster fire for him, though. I mean, like,
yeah.
I guess at this point, what do you have to pick from? You know, like not a whole lot.
Geno Smith or Drew Lock or Jimmy Garoppolo or Colin Kaepernick or.
But no, I'm saying like what city Baker can choose from at this point. Like, what's the best situation to be in?
All right, that's a question I have for y'all.
What?
If you're Seattle, do you stick with Drew Lock or do you keep Geno? Considering you just sent Russell away from him.
I don't even.
I would go with Geno. He's been there.
Right, he knows the system already.
Great locker room guy.
Yeah.
I think you go with Geno.
Yeah. So, all right. Damn, I think we touched on everything. So yeah, I think we agreed. The Deshaun thing is going to take some time. Like I said, I think it would have been seamless had he gone to. I think the best option for him would have been Carolina or New Orleans to win now.
Oh,
and
100%.
And then Atlanta, like I feel like they could have built something in Atlanta because I feel like people would love to have like go there and play with him. And then Cleveland is like, all right, dude, you better hope Deshaun's Superman. And he's still Superman. And by the way, Urban Meyer did not know who Aaron Donald was, which is absolutely hilarious to me that you can be an NFL head coach and not know who Aaron Donald is.
It's the other stuff that the more that comes out from that, like from that guy, like the stories, it shocks me he had a job that long,
bro.
To be honest with you. Like the stuff that he says to these players, like if you weren't in the NFL, you wouldn't be making $15 an hour flipping burgers. That's a wild thing to say to a 300-pound athlete.
Bro, DJ Chark, former Jags wide receiver, was like he was spilling the tea today, man.
Yeah, that was wild.
I love it. Well, luckily he's no longer in the NFL. We are not Jacksonville Jaguar fans.
Do you think he ever gets another job coaching ever
No,
again?
no, absolutely not.
Not even some like D3 college school?
High school.
High school?
He'll coach I'll call this, he'll coach his grandson's team. Remember, he has a grandson.
God, I mean, even that's a PR bust. Like that's
I mean, dude grinds on women in public with his wife. Dude,
abuses his players. Like,
okay,
this isn't even just like last year. This goes way back.
I would like to retract my high school statement.
the last thing any high school wants.
Yeah. I don't think you can even touch. I don't think anybody can touch this guy with a 10-foot pole without PR nightmare.
I think a 10-foot pole is too small.
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to say, like, you can't have him be a chaperone at the prom or homecoming dance.
Absolutely not.
He'd be right in the middle.
Okay.
Question really quick before we end the show, for real. If
Okay.
Urban Meyer got hired to the Nick Saban rehab program, would you guys like that?
Absolutely.
I would hate it,
No,
and I hope that never happens.
No.
According to Wyatt, he is back at Fox as a TV analyst.
That's wild. He even got that job. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there's no players there for him to abuse.
But
I mean, I guess he
general,
can
that dude's
sexually
a shitty
harass
guy.
the women in the office.
I guess. Oh,
Lord.
God. Well, look, I think we have touched on everything. I just downloaded Elden Ring, and I'm dying to check it out.
Oh, do you know what you're gonna run?
I haven't even. The game just downloaded, so I haven't even like opened the menu. I'll tell you this. I know nothing about it, other than.
Have you ever played a
Dark
Souls or a From
Yeah.
Software?
Yeah, I played Dark Souls before, so I'm excited about this. So like, I don't know anything about the storyline. Don't know anything about the classes. Don't know anything about this game. And all I've heard about it is it's amazing, and I need to play it. So I downloaded it. It took a while. I'm gonna probably play for like an hour or two, and I say that, and which I'll end up probably pulling all nighter.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but
I will be up all my classes got canceled tomorrow, so I will be up all night playing if you have questions.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can find me online at The Real Cruise Ox on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow the Oxcord podcast on Instagram and Twitter as well. And our TikTok. And TikTok. We're actually making some moves on TikTok now. It's going to be
15,000 views on that video the other day, boys.
Let's go.
Good work. My video did not do as well as I hoped, but
you just didn't hit the algorithm, dude.
Yeah.
It's all about hitting that thing at the right time. That's all that matters.
Too old for the shenanigans. But make sure you like and subscribe, especially to Boo Crew Media on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram as well. They've been killing it for us. And by the way, we will announce the winner of the Final Four ticket contest soon. We're just waiting for that to be finalized. I know a lot of people got knocked out, so I don't really have to worry about a lot of you anymore. But we will contact you when we know the winners after this weekend. Can't wait for New Orleans. I know I'll be there. Hopefully some of the guys will be there as well. Nick, how can people find you online?
Yeah, guys, just give me a sympathy follow. Okay, the Falcons have hurt me enough, so give me a sympathy follow at nperkins96 on Twitter. I don't do all that Instagram. I don't do all that shenanigans. Just follow on Twitter. Great community we're building over there. It's new faces every single day. We
25K, baby. You're 25,000. Sorry, not 25K, but 25,000.
25,000.
That's
2,500 on the show's Twitter.
Bro, I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's been a long day. But hey, no, Wyatt and Bond have been killing it so heavy on the show's social medias that I'm like getting nervous that the show's going to pass me in followers. So again, sympathy follow, guys. I need you. Come on. I can't let that happen. My ego can't take it.
Did you guys see that whole McDonald's thing that NBA Twitter started?
Yes.
Wait,
I got 300. I got 300 followers off that. Like a bunch of people just put they chose a random athlete. Like I took Mac Jones, put him in a McDonald's uniform, set it as my profile picture, and set my name to Mick Big Mac.
That's hilarious. That's what that's from? I never knew what that was from.
I got
That's
300 followers off that.
Jesus Christ.
You can follow me at @BonSnow_ on Twitter. I've been kind of off the rails lately, coming off like a 2-week bender, so might not want to currently. And handle is @Bond_Snow_ on Instagram.
And of course, we have to.
We got to plug Wyatt.
Yeah, we got to plug Wyatt. So Wyatt, why don't you plug your information right now, buddy?
You can find more bad takes, such as Tennessee winning the national championship, on Twitter at @Fulton W. And if you want to see more of my ugly mug, Instagram Dubs1024.
Attaboy. Yeah, just don't put money on anything Wyatt says. And you'll be fine.
Hey, no, okay. I will say this. I went 8 for 8 in picks yesterday.
That is kind of nuts.
I am mad I did not put like $20 on that.
Yeah,
but granted,
that is nuts.
Hindsight is 2020.
Obviously, if you put money on it, you go 0-8, which is statistically.
I would have gone like 2-8. But
yeah.
Ooh, this just in: a team that is yet to be disclosed in the NFC is in trade talks for Baker Mayfield and asked the Browns for a draft pick in exchange for taking his contract. So Baker could be on the move as early as tomorrow. So
it's got to be Seattle, right?
I would say Seattle or Carolina. I could see,
or
maybe Atlanta. You never know.
That would be peak. That would be so peak Atlanta to sign Marcus Mariota to a 2-year deal and then just turn around the next day and get Baker Mayfield.
I gotta end it there.
In the show, I'm done.
I love you guys. We'll see you next week.